Hello everybody. COVID-19 pandemic. You are invited to give a presentation to your colleagues about COVID-19 pandemic. But you are not a doctor. So what? It doesn't matter. Why? For two reasons. Number one, this not will be a medical presentation. Number two, you will give a presentation about COVID-19 pandemic concerning the social spacing and how to use the disinfectant for both human and furniture. I explained in the previous videos how to prepare a productive presentation. Now, in this video, I implement the rules in this presentation to give a productive presentation. Let me explain. To prepare a productive presentation, you should pass through three phases. Phase number one, presentation, preparation, and structuring. This phase should pass through 4 steps. Step number one, profiling the audience. You have a full data about the attendance, which department they come from, what is the type and level of experience and professions, what is the knowledge level of them, what is the number of attendants. Step number two, setting the presentation objective. The presentation objective in this case, how to protect yourself against COVID-19 concerning the social spacing and the using of disinfectant for both furniture and humans. Step 3, presentation structuring. Presentation structuring, collect the information of the presentation and prepare the material used in the presentation. For example, visual aids, hard copy, sample of disinfectant, and so on. Write a full script for the presentation and rehearse it. Step number 4, the location. There are 2 types of the location, inside and outside. Inside means inside the company. In case of inside location, you should be found before the presentation time 1 or 2 hours at least before the starting time. Why? To check the following. Number 1, number of chairs equal to the number of attendants. Number 2, usually the chair arrangements is either U-shape or classroom, but concerning the social spacing, the classroom with alternative rows the best, like this. Taking into consideration 1 meter distance from each other. Step 3, check the lighting suitable for all the attendance requirements and for the screen display. Step 4, check the sound system is working properly. Step 5, check the electricity supplies is suitable for all devices used in the presentation. In case of outside location, you invite to give a presentation in the location you have not enough information about it, like hotels. In this case, you check the following. Number 1, the location is easy to reach by all attendants. Number 2, avoid the location in a high traffic area as possible. 3, recover the noise. Take in your consideration, the location should be wide enough for social spacing and good aerated. Now, it is a presentation time. But before the presentation, you make sure that, number 1, the attendants wearing their mask and gloves. Number 2, measuring the body temperature for the attendants. 3, cleansing the furniture with antiseptic. Phase number 2, presentation delivery techniques. You have to deliver the presentation objective and information to the audience. You should follow the 10 factors that affecting the presentation delivery techniques or the presentation delivery skills to maximize the presentation productivity. Factor number 1, dress. The dress reflects the nature of the presentation. Most audience prefer informal dress. You should balance between the nature of the presentation and the dress code. Factor number 2, to start, preferable the chairman or the manager introduce you to the attendants. But if not, introduce yourself to the attendants by giving them hint about your scientific background concerning the objective of the presentation and the sources used. The sources comes from WHO and MOH from several countries. Presentation introduction. In the presentation introduction, you will give a hint about the information in this presentation, and the sources used come from MOH and WHO. Opening summary. Opening summary means the agenda of the presentation, like that. Factor number 3, the position. There are two types of position. Standing position means respect the audience and better to be seen and heard. Sitting position means more informality with audience. The best position is standing sitting mix, which lead to more informality atmosphere with the audience and more participation with the audience. Take in your consideration concerning the social spacing, keep distance between you and the audience. Factor number 4, the voice. Avoid the monotone voice because it induces sleep. The high tone reflects the urgency and the enthusiasm. The low tone, very important in certain points. Silent or pause is very important to let the audience to write a note. Due to the shared arrangements concerning the social spacing, you have to raise your voice to reach the farthest one in the room. Factor number 5, speed of speech. Don't slow, don't fast. The recommended speed is 100 words per minute, but you have to slow from time to time to give a chance to the audience to write a note. Factor number 6, the language. The language will be according to the nature of the company, but you have to consider the departments where the attendants come from and their experience and professions. So the Franco-Arab will be suitable if there is a difference in the experience and professions. Factor number 7, time. Time is very important to get the respect of the audience. You have to tell the audience the schedule of the presentation, and near the end of the presentation you should give a note. Number 8, audience mood. You have to understand and respect the audience mood. For example, frequent shifting position, looking at watches, facial expression. You should cut the presentation by break or stretching. Factor number 9, audience-speaker communication. The rule is, if the speaker is less knowledge than the audience, he should expand his information related to the presentation objective. Now, in this presentation, both you and the audience received a lot of information about COVID-19 concerning social spacing and using disinfectant from different sources like TV, social media, and so on. Now you are a speaker, so you should be more knowledgeable than the audience. So you should expand your information related to the presentation objective from the official sources like WHO and MOH. Avoid using complex phrases to avoid barrier between you and the audience. Avoid using the abbreviation you are not sure the audience familiar with it, such as WHO, MOH. Factor number 10, body language. Body language consists of position, movement, hands, eye contact. Let me explain. Position. Your position should be visible for all attendants and easy to use the visual aids. Movement. You have to move a little around. and keep distance between you and the audience concerning the objective of the presentation. Avoid the overmoving and avoid the nervous movement. Your hands. Avoid to put your hands in pocket. This is reflect you will not take the audience seriously. Avoid fold your hands in front of your chest. This is make a barrier between you and the audience. So what to do with your hands? Using podium tables, reminder cards, pencil, and so on to absorb your hands movement. Eye contact. Not less than 50% of the presentation time we will be in direct contact with the audience. And you should distribute the eye contact among all the audience equally, except when you will answer a question. The pointer is very important tool, but the pointer used for point, not for playing. The conclusion. Don't end the presentation suddenly. You have to conclude the topics in the presentation. Closing. To make the presentation memorable. Number 1, ask questions. Number 2, challenge the audience to apply the information in the presentation on entire work, market, home, and so on. The last phase, or the phase number 3, in presentation preparation and structuring, is self-evaluation. After the presentation, you have to evaluate yourself. Why? To improve the next presentation. How to evaluate yourself? By using evaluation form, like this. What are the topics you should evaluate? The topics are: number 1, presentation structure. Number 2, handling questions. 3, the location. 4, visual aids and materials. 5, presentation delivery techniques. If any topic less than 5, why and what is the action plan to improve the next presentation? By the end of this video, I implement the rule of how to prepare a productive presentation on your presentation concerning the social spacing and the using of disinfectant. Now you can prepare any presentation by using these rules concerning any subject you're invited to give it. Thank you.